Hey guys, welcome back to another Netpicker tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll learn how to configure HTTPS for Netpicker. Well, Netpicker by default uses HTTP, but you can easily add HTTPS as well by following a few lines of configurations. If you go to knowledge base, you'll scroll down and you can also search for HTTPS, but HTTPS support for Netpicker is here. So first of all, we have to have this file in our project, nginxssl.conf. It is there by default if you clone the repository. I'm going to actually show you in the terminal. There are two files needed in the certs folder, which again is there by default. There is the private key file and the certificate file. We need to generate the certificate file using a private key and a certificate signing request file, which we also need to generate. Now, I'll scroll down. In the compose file, there are a couple of changes. The first one is the port. We have to add the port, and we have to add two lines of volumes. We map the config file for SSL and the certs folder to their associated paths in the container. Now, before actually configuring anything, I'm going to show you what I have. Open up File Manager, and here I'm inside the Netpicker project. This folder is certs. Currently, it is empty. Now, there are a few more files. The other one is this SSL config file. You don't need to change it. You don't need to do anything. This is there by default and it should be as is. The other one is Docker Compose, and we actually need to change this. But before I actually change the compose file, I'm going to quit and see how we can generate some keys. So I have to go to the search folder. As you saw, it was empty. Now I want to generate my private key in this folder. This is very important because otherwise it won't work. The private key is used to generate a signing request, certificate signing request. I will also execute this here in the search folder. I don't need country name. I can just skip these and basically generate. Again, if I do ls, CSR is now generated. You can fill these or leave these empty. It would work either way. Now, the last thing I want is to use the private key and the CSR to generate a certificate for me, again, in the same folder. It is okay, and we successfully generated a certificate using private key and a CSR. Now, the most important thing here is to add and fix the permissions. Otherwise, the front end service won't start. The first one is the search folder, root password. I have to go back, perform it one more time. There we go. I also have to change the ownership and fix the permissions for the config file. Now I will open up the compose file using a text editor and look for the front-end service. Here in the port section, I will add port 443. It could be anything, but it should be mapped to 443 in the container. So the outer port could be anything. The inner port should be 443. I will also add the volumes, and I can grab them from here. Copy. There we go, paste. Now I will exit, save and exit, and when I spin up Netpicker now, I should be able to access the front-end service using HTTPS or port 443. There we go, all services are running, so that means if I go here, type HTTPS localhost. Since this is a self-signed certificate, it is giving me a warning. I can just say advance and proceed to localhost. And there we go. We are here. I can just log in using the default username and password. Log in, and logging is successful. So that's how you can configure HTTPS for your Netpicker service.